Hey, hey, buddy. You locked that headhunt. That's okay, buddy. I'm telling you, nothing changed. But we need to get that up, right? I'm actually trying to find my old headhunt video. Here it is. I played it pretty late last night. Excuse me.
Days to see if smog.
Damn. Sorry, guys. Coughing right in your ear. Man, my hand is sore playing POE so much last night. What's up, save? Yay, carrot. Where did we end? Jeez. Guess I get to find out tomorrow where we ended. I've been wondering what's the two best Guild War defenses. I know Ashland Harsetti Mort is one of them. As easy as it is to beat, people still fall down to this one. Hang on here. I can't show you my team, can I? The Spirit Eye Celine one. Crap. Oh, not Spirit Eye Celine. I'm brain farting on it. Hang on. We'll do this we'll do this the hard way. Surely it'll show as one of the top defenses, right? Yeah, I mean this is right now the strongest defense out there. It's not Bellion though, it's Sea Poly. Here it is. This one right here. Sea Poly Tywin BBK. That one's pretty tricky because if you look at how to beat it, you go Sea Phantom Poly, Ambitious Tywin, Bloodblade Corinne. There's not really any 100% success rate ones, right? I mean, even the second most one has almost a 10% fail rate. Even the third best option has a 15% fail rate. So I kind of like that. So, yeah, okay, sure. But yeah, so this one right here, and then the Mort Harsetti one. Those are my two defenses for Guild Wars currently. Morning. Veronica Celine beats that. Okay. I'm not saying it's unbeatable. I'm just saying it does really well for me. You could put up any defense and I could give you something that beats it. You know, that Mort one that everybody is using, Melissa craps all over that one. What's up, Monster? Good to see you. Melissa's just great for everything, man. She's really, really good. A lot of people are sleeping on that unit for dealing with Arena and Guild War. Huh. Well, that was unexpected. Oh, no, it wasn't. There's no Harsetti. Oops. Awkward. What's the replacement for hand guy? Laya should work fine. Designer Lilibet should work fine. He's just there for the cleanse to get rid of fear. Oh shit. Yeah, can't take it into Senya. That's a distinct lack of Harsetti on defense. That's kind of nice. I would try Designer a little bit first. If that doesn't work, go with Laya. And just make sure you avoid Dragon Pride Senya and make sure the enemy does have Harsetti. Look at all these no Harsetti defenses. Ugh, I don't like taking it into LRK either. LRK can be a problem. Yeah, look how long this one's taking. Not a good sign. Yeah. Everything is kind of slow here. Even though there's no Harsetti, maybe I try it. What's up, Rastafarius? Heh. Alright. That chore's out of the way. Oh, wait, we gotta get our daily thing, right? Our daily stove gift. Yo, there's a spider, like, right here. Can't see it, but he's right freaking here. I gotta move this little guy over. Can you see him now? I guess you can't. It's just the camera's not picking him up. It's too small. Okay, little guy. I don't want to yawn and wind up inhaling you. Go over there and eat some damn bug. Oh, good. I'm glad. Glad you like it. Let's see. Today is the Spirit Blooms. Receive. Use coupon. Claim reward. Use reward. Send to this. Good lord, it's a lot of button pushes. Okay. And it's sent. Where do we get that check-in? Just go to your stove client and click on this big blue banner. And that'll take you right to it. And once you redeem it, it should be in your mailbox. Right there they are. Yeah, they finally fixed it. They fixed it just in time for me to get the friendship boxes. So, those of you that weren't aware, at least for people in, the, America time zones, it was broken. So, like it said, 12/7, but it called it Sunday. So, the timer wasn't letting you pick it up because the day wasn't matching the day of the week. And that's why I missed the first two, but as of the 4th, they got it fixed. I like spiders in the house. They eat all the things that I don't want in my house. Of course, I live in the USA where spiders are not a big deal. But I don't know, as long as they stay in their own area. The worst was I was picking up my glass to take a drink out of it. The straw was heading for my mouth, and this fucking little trapdoor spider had built his nest inside of the straw, which would have made for a very, very spicy drink. Unless it has a fiddle on its back or a red hourglass on its abdomen, then there's zero tolerance for those spiders. I don't care how good they are for the environment, those go right under the shoe. I got bit by a black widow once, man. That was an unpleasant fucking bite. That's probably the most painful bite I think I've ever had. Got me right below the elbow, and it felt like somebody was repeatedly smacking me in the elbow with a ball-peen hammer. All day, non-stop, just constant bursts of pain. It was crazy. I went to the doctor and they said, well, we can give you some anti-venom, but it's really expensive and your insurance won't cover it because it's only supposed to be given to children and elderly, or when the bite is on the upper torso where it could be near the heart. Now, if you feel the pain radiating and the pain gets into your chest, come back and we'll give it to you. But otherwise, here's some Vicodin and like a piece of wood to bite down on and just ride it out. So that was fun. But most spider bites are like no worse than a mosquito bite, to be honest with you. At least here. Did you see how the new guy defended? Did you see the new guy defending the Pirate Flan buffs and trashing the old stove balance adjustment posts? He's going crazy, replying to everyone saying the old buff is good. No, I didn't see it. The new Flan buffs aren't bad. They make her objectively better. Right? The new Flan, the buffs to Flan are indeed buffs. They make her better, but they make her better in a role that nobody plays her in. They make her better as a aggro bridge unit, and nobody plays her like that. They don't fix her issue of being completely reliant on a +30 limited artifact. They don't address her issue of not synergizing with the modern meta. She'll be okay as a bridge unit now. Maybe she could be good in a Ran Cleave. Yeah, exactly. But nobody Ran Cleaves anymore because Ran style cleave is pretty much dead. Everything in this current meta counters it. It's not a buff that's going to change her usefulness. The people that are already using her are probably really happy with these buffs because they make her objectively better the way they're using her. The problem is that's a teeny tiny less than 1% of a segment. That's like saying this buff is going to make the people who use Urvalin happy. This buff is going to make the people who use I don't know Teiyu happy, right? They're out there, and some people do use those units, but it's not enough to make people that don't use the unit want to use the unit. And that's what we wanted. We wanted something that's going to bring the unit into the limelight, make it a functional, usable unit. Saying, people who are forcing it because they absolutely love the unit and they're in a relatively low elo, and they can afford to play units that they just really love, even though they're not very good in the meta, and they can force an old style play into it, and it makes the unit better in that very, very tiny segment niche. That's not the buff we were looking for. Everybody likes the unit. Nobody likes that the unit isn't very playable. And nobody is going to look at this buff and go, you know what? In that weird niche way they played the unit, now she's so good in that niche that I'm going to go ahead and build around and start playing that way too. Because playing her that way is not very functional. There's better answers for it, or better ways to do that style of play. And it's just not good enough that people are going to invest in going after a limited artifact and putting all this together to make it happen. It's not a good buff. It's only a good buff for the people who are already playing her. It makes her stronger in the way she was already being played. So yeah, it's a good buff for that style of play. But nobody who wasn't playing Flan before is going to start playing Flan because of the buff. And that's the whole purpose of a balance patch, is to take underutilized heroes and make more people use them. It's not to make them stronger in the tiny market segment they already have. Every time they balance a unit, the little text underneath it will say things like, the unit just isn't being used as much because of this, so we're doing these things to adjust it. And nothing they did to Flan is going to make anybody start using Flan. And that's the whole and the sum of whether or not it was a good balance or not. It's not did it make her better, it's did it make her more desirable to play. And it did not. It has not made her more desirable to play. People who already play her will be like, this is great. But people that don't already play her are going to look at it and go, okay. It's another patch that does nothing because it's not going to change anybody using the unit. And that's what makes it sad, right? The initial patch, the initial buff that she was going to get, everyone was going to try Flan out. That was so insane, it was going to make everybody start playing Flan. That's exactly what a balance patch should do. It should get people excited to build a unit, excited to see what new techs and comps they can come up with, excited to see what new ways the unit's going to be used. And I don't think anything on this balance patch changed any of that. But hey, let's get a tier list up. Alright, guys, I'm going to go over this really quickly. Because I don't want to spend a ton of time rehashing this for a third time. So, Abyssal Euphine is and always will be a solid unit. She's not first pickable, really, but she's very good, and I think you want it. Ainz will go, and you can't get, and he's terrible. A Tywin is still top tier. He's one of the stronger knights in the game. Apoc Ravi, where did we have her before? That's right. Apoc Ravi is a niche unit, and she's niche in that you just need something to anchor down a team. You can't figure out what else to play. Arby is a very strong unit. Archdemon Shadow, here we go. She's one of the ones that was buffed, right? And she was down here in the needs a buff category. The buffs they gave to her make her a lot more consistent, taking her seal up to 100% chance and making her extra attack proc increasing her chance to defense break. All of that is really good. The only thing that I don't like about the buffs of the Archdemon Shadow is they removed her blind. I think if they left her blind in, she might even be first pickable. Right now, I think she's just solid. I think they moved her up to be a decent, solid, usable character, and I think people are going to start playing her a little bit more, because when she gets the seal, she'll go into her extra attacks, she'll guarantee the push. I think this was one of the better buffs on the list. I don't think it's insane. I don't think it's going to make her, you know, the next Luna or the next problem unit, but I do think it makes her very draftable. I think it's going to be decent. Architect Leica is still garbage. She needs a buff. She's not really usable in any way, shape, or form right now. Not even in PvE. Astromancer Elena. Mort took a lot of her job. So about the only niche she has left is when you need to keep the enemy from countering, but you want your team to still counter, right? Because Mort shuts counter down for everybody. But if you want to shut down the enemy from countering, but you still want countering yourself, then Astromancer Elena is pretty good. So it's a very, very small niche segment, right? Mostly centered around using Hellion Lua, but there you go. Bellion is... She's a niche unit, but she's an evergreen niche unit, right? If you have the artifact 3F on her, you could maybe move her up to solid. But without 3F, she's just niche, and that niche is you need to deny souls. Blood Moon Haste is a top tier unit. Bringing your entire team back to life, complete reversal. The fact that every single time you touch him, he counters and heals up. Yeah, very, very, very good unit. Briarwitch Assaria. I thought about moving her down because of the Sinful Angelica buffs, where Sinful Angelica could be an alternate replacement for her. And when a 4-star replaces a 5-star, do you really, really want to call her meta? Now, she is still a top pick, but the question is, will Sinji take her thunder, take her place? Now, here's the thing about Sinful Angelica. When she has her immortality stripped, because she has it right out of the gate, when she has her immortality stripped, she is typically pretty squishy and easy to kill. And once she's dead, she's dead. Briar is a little bit harder to kill. She doesn't proc her immortality till the final kill strike. Then her immortality procs. So it makes it a little bit easier to keep her alive, especially in a world with Veronica's running around. But for right now, I don't know how good Sinji's going to be in comparison. That's the one big advantage Bri has over Sinji, is nesting her immortality and hiding it. Whereas Sinji's immortality, she wears it on her sleeve, and Veronica can be a problem. I'm going to move her down to solid right now. I think I might move her back up because of how strong she is, but the other nice thing about Sinji is much like Astromancer denies counters to the enemy, but not to you, Sinji denies raises to the enemy, but not to your own team, whereas Bri denies it to your own team. But yeah, the one-sided nature of Sinji's revive is huge. I'm going to pull her down. I think Sinji might steal enough of her thunder where she is not a must-have. Now, it's not that she is not a meta pick. It's just that her and Sinji's jobs will overlap enough that I wonder if not having her is as big of a deal anymore. Closer Charles also got a buff, and Closer Charles's buff looks really good into Zeo, because he's going to get that evasion right off of the bat, right? So if you're looking for an opener and you don't want, and the enemy is picked Zeo, you could drop Closer in the place, because the person using Zeo can choose to S3 Closer, but he's flipping a coin, right? He's flipping a coin and deciding whether or not he's going to hit him with a 50% evasion, and most people running Zeo aren't going to like that. Same with Ran, same with most attack openers, but other than Zeo, not a lot of attack-based openers are out there. Not a lot of Ran and Para Cleaves anymore. They still exist, but they're rare. Other units don't care about closer, right? Hellion Lua is a non-attack skill. Luna is a non-attack skill. That's seals, by the way. What are some other ones? Sea Phantom Politis, Conqueror Lilius, all non-attack skills. None of those give a rat's ass about Charles's push. Hell, even top model Lulica doesn't really care about him. So he doesn't speed contest a lot of cleaves. I think he's really only good as an anti-Zeo tech and decent as an initiator. And he still has the issue of he is slow. It takes a lot of speed to build this guy. I think if he gets an EE, a speed EE, it's going to move him up. Right now, I think he's a niche pick. And that niche is you need to outplay a Zeo, and you might as well just go with a benevolent Roman at that point. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm wrong about closer. Right now, I think he's niche. I think if closer gets a speed EE, he could easily move up to solid. Commander Pavel's niche for when you're cleaving. Conqueror Lilius is very, very solid. And anybody that thinks C. Lilius isn't solid needs to look at her GG stats. The only reason she is not in every other draft and constantly pre-banned is because C. Phantom Politis exists. Dark Corvus needs a buff big time. His one niche is in Guild Wars, and while Imperial Ilanov exists, he's even kind of bad in that niche. He's hard to use. Death Dealer Ray is still near the top of the list. Schneal took some of his thunder away, but not as much as people expected. He is still one of the top picks in the game. Desert Jewel Basar is kind of a niche pick. There are certain places where you can pick him where he's really good, but pound for pound, he's just kind of hard to use. Designer Lilibet is one of the top units right now. I think anybody that's played RTA this season has run into Designer Lilibet and seen the crazy things she does. Lilibet is definitely a meta pick now. Bride Senya would be near the top of the meta, but you can't pick her. Dragon King Sharoon is at the top of the niche, right? Her niche is answering DDR and to a lesser extent Mort. And that's pretty much it. She's a decent damage dealer. She and Tywin. She addresses Tywin really good. Because she answers the top two of the top meta picks, a lot of people think that should be solid, but it's still a niche, right? Just because the niche is answering what's at the top of the meta, there are other answers to the top of the meta. So if this meta is kicking your ass, go for the niche unit. If that niche is ripping you apart, pick her up. But if these two units don't exist on the enemy team, you don't ever pick this unit. Pyrian Ilanov is the strongest unit in the game, bar none. She is the peak of the meta. She is the most first-picked unit in the game. She's in every Guild War and Arena defense. If you don't have this unit, you're kind of hating life right now, and unfortunately, you cannot get her from the headhunt either. Ludwig, unfortunately, is a niche unit, and that niche is a very specific type of cleave. It's very counterable right now. He's much harder to play. You can only 4-5 pick. There was a time where you could stick him on ban protection and ruin people, and that time has kind of passed. Faithless Lidica. Faithless Lidica is a strong unit if you have the gear to build her. And I know that feels like a weird niche, but her gear requirement is one of the 3 highest gear requirements in the game. And when I say requirement, I mean requirement. If you don't hit her stat points, you can't use this unit. It's not like well, she'll work at lower elos, or she'll work just not. No, if you don't hit the stat minimums for this unit, you can't play this unit. So I'm putting her in niche, and her niche is you have just got to have the gear. You just got to have the gear. Fallen Cecilia. Let me change this. Needs buffed or reworked. Because Fallen Cecilia does not need buffed. She needs reworked. She needs changed into something different. If you buff what she already does, oh my god. Every time somebody says buff Fallen Cecilia, I want to reach through the computer screen, grab them by the ears, shake them, shove my foot up their ass. It is the slowest, tankiest, most god-awful meta. In a world of Empyrean Ilanovs and Bride Senyas and freaking Tywins and LRKs, do you really want this to be slower and tankier? She was a great disaster because of how tanky she is. And if you're just going to just straight up buff that, you're just going to make another Fallen Cecilia, or another Dragon Bride Senya, another Empyrean Ilanov, another LRK. And we don't need that. This is the most boring, god-awful, slow, tanky, unfun to play, unfun to watch RTA season I've been a part of, and I say that looking Golden Boys right in the eye. So, make her do something different. Like what you did with LRK. That was brilliant. They didn't change anything LRK did. They just added a little something to his kit that made him significantly better for the game. The only FCC change I've heard that I really like the idea of is make it so that she counters seal, right? That while she's on the team, units can't be sealed, or if she's attacked, it auto cleanses seal from your entire team. Something like that. Make her a Luna counter. Something where it gives her a useful pick, but doesn't make her ridiculously stronger. If you're just going to say make her barriers undispellable, or triple the barrier size, or give her 100% crit to let her do damage to, you're just making another one of what we already have, and that's boring and slow. Don't do it. So please, please, please stop saying buff FCC and start saying rework or redesign FCC. Give her a job beyond her current job, because she's really good at her current job. And if you just make her better at the job, she's another boring tank that we have to chop down. And nobody wants that. I don't have time for that. Harsetti is currently meta. Currently one of the best units in the game. We wonder if in about, 5 days, if that's all going to change when young Senya comes out. We'll have to see. But regardless of where she is in meta or solid right now, she is not choosable on the headhunt, so I'll put her down here. Lua, if you have the gear, and by gear I mean like 280 speed and higher, and you got a guiding light artifact to hide her, Lua is a powerhouse unit. And I'm still laughing at all the people that left a negative comments on the video where I said she's insanely strong, and then after her buff that she's meta, and them saying no, the buffs didn't go far enough. She's one of the highest winning units in the game. I've got like, on my GG stats, I've got like a 75-80% win rate with her. She runs people over if you have the gear to build her. If you don't have the gear to build her, not so much. But I would definitely put her in the meta column, especially on third pick ban protection. But with third pick ban protection likely going away in 5 or 6 days, maybe her value drops off quite a bit. Regardless, you can't pick her, so I'm putting her down here in not on headhunt. Judge Kisei is a very, very strong unit. Takes a lot of gear, hard to build, but if you build her, she is surprisingly good. You pick her towards the end and she'll carry fights. LRK is arguably better than Tywin. If I could stack these guys on top of each other, I would. They're really neck and neck, right? For the number one spot. It depends how you play. I'm going to go with Tywin because Tywin's been meta longer, whereas Krau's been hot and cold. But since Krau's buff, he's been finding more and more places. Lionheart Sirmia, I can't believe I'm saying it, but the girl needs a buff. She's just not playable. I had a draft. Everything about my draft was good for Lionheart Sirmia. I had Lua, I had counter units, I had a dual attack unit, I had C-Pod, everything play into this, and I let him keep her, and she still lost. She's just not good right now. She needs something. Little Queen Charlotte. This is going to seem weird. After I said her niche is dealing with the top. Her niche is also dealing with the top because dark units are so powerful right now. And her built-in mitigation, I think she's better than a lot of people give her credit for. I think she is usable into a lot of applications where she's only usable into 2 applications. She's usable into dozens. So I still think she's kind of solid. Lone Crescent Bologna, although anti-crit is not as common of a thing, it's still out there, and Lone Crescent Bologna is great into AoEs. Maid... Okay. Maid is kind of niche. And that niche is she's busted good in PvE. But she's only kind of good in RTA, right? But in Abyss, in certain Guild War fights, an AoE cleanse, an AoE attack buff, passive healing even when she's controlled. She's probably one of the better Soul Weavers. Really, you can use her to solo the Devourer Arahakan. Not solo, sorry. Auto the Devourer Arahakan. She's really, really, really good. But for RTA, not so much. No, not in RTA, she's up here. If you don't consider RTA at all. If you do consider RTA, if we're looking at this through a lens of just RTA, down here. I think if you look up the word niche in the dictionary, you see a picture of martial artist Ken right beside it, right, guys? Mediator Kwerik is still one of the strongest units in the game. I'm going to put him right here beside Designer Lilibet. He basically does the same thing as Dilibet. He does the cleanse angle better than Dilibet, but Dilibet brings damage and resets along with it. Navy Captain Landy. If you don't look at RTA, she's solid. If you do look at RTA, she is like Maid and she's very niche. These are in the solid outside of RTA, niche inside of RTA, right? Too many things counter Landy. Too many things more stop her from countering. Too many things. Most of the Knight DPSs don't care about crit and go right through that. And you got Empyrean Ilanov making her throwing the boat not do anything. There's just too many ways to stop Landy to use her in RTA right now. She's an okay last 4-5 pick, but 4-5... I mean, this is like okay to pick on 1-2 column. Probably a lock-in on 3 column. And okay to pick on 4-5 column. Situational, right? I mean, not really, but you can almost look at it that way, right? And that's really where she is. She's a 4th, 5th pick when the situation allows it. Otherwise, you're going to use her in PvE. New Moon Luna would be near the top of the tier list, but you can't select her, so we'll just move her down here. Operator Sigrid is objectively the worst ML5 in the game, and I think it's criminal that she is yet to get a buff. She's completely unusable. Even people who love her and put the gear on her and they're like, well, now mine does 30k damage. That's great. That almost kind of maybe kills some of my units. It's not. She just needs something. Her build is so hard to use right now. Okay, here we go. Pirate Captain Flan was in the need a buff category, and they did it. They gave her a buff. And her original buffs, the ones that got canceled, put her solidly beside DDR, maybe in front of DDR. They would have made her the best damn control unit in the game. The buffs they did give her still make her reliant on a plus 30 limited artifact and don't change her usability. The thing about balance patches, I'm going to go on this rant again. The thing about balance patches is they are applied to underused, underutilized units. They're applied to units that aren't being picked or drafted as much. That's the theory behind it, is to make unplayed units more playable so that all of us will enjoy using the units more often. What they've done to Flan this time around is a buff. It objectively makes her better in every way she is currently being used, and that is the key. In every way she is currently being used. It makes her a little bit better of a bridge unit. It makes her a little bit more consistent in what she does. But people aren't using her. That's why she was on the balance patch. We've got a skin from RTA season coming out, and everybody wanted to be able to, enjoy that skin, to see it in their gameplay. So they were buffing Flan in a way that got people excited. And the first balance patch got people excited, got some of us concerned, but every single person was ready and roaring to go and use Flan, to find new ways to use her, to add her to their comp. They were theorizing builds, coming up with team synergy, all this kind of stuff, getting excited to use her. And then they pulled the rug out and reversed those amazing buffs. And then they give us this. And all this does is make the people who are already using her a little bit happier, because they made her better in the very niche way they were already using her. And nobody that isn't already using her is looking at these buffs going, oh, I think I'm going to give Flan a try now. This looks pretty good. Because it doesn't. It's used in the exact same niche way she was used. All we're doing is maybe making her a little bit of a bridge unit, right? We're changing her just enough so that you can use her in the aggro way that you were using her, and you can maybe bridge some units with her, possibly. It's not going to change how she's used, and that's the sad thing, because that means as a buff it's good, but as a balance patch it's a failure. It did buff her, but it didn't balance her, because balancing her would mean more people are going to use this unused unit. And right now, nobody's going to use this unit that wasn't already using it. Sure, there'll be a couple of people on test day, but it's just going to go back to the same old handful of people using her the ineffective way they were using her to win fights in silver and gold for the 5 or 6 times that they pick her, and maybe do a little bit better with her. Maybe they'll actually get to Masters this season. I don't know. But I'm very, very sad about the Flan buffs, because they're very lackluster. They don't go far enough. They don't make her into a unit that's exciting. And now we've got a skin that we're only going to really be able to enjoy in the lobby, because she's not good in PvE either. So there's a beautiful unit without a place in the game, and that makes me sad. Remnant Violet. Okay, just because he's got a shit ton of counters doesn't mean he's niche. You can't say, well, his niche is take him into a fight where there's not a lot of counters to him, because you can say that about anybody. Make sure you don't take DDR into a fight where there's a lot of counters. If they first pick Schneel, Tywin, and Laya, maybe you shouldn't pick DDR next. Right? Well, duh, you don't pick them into counters, but in situations where the counters aren't there and you need to pick, Rylet is really, really good. I'm going to put him farther down on the list, but I can't decide on Rylet, guys. He just dies, though. He just gets hit. Everything kills him. And if everything kills him, then he needs a buff. Right? Right? I'm going to put him right beside FCC. Because with Rylet, everything kills him. But they've got to be really careful about how they buff him. Much like I don't want to see FCC buffed to just be another Giga tank, I don't want to see Rylet buffed to be just another Afternoon Soak Flan. But they got to find something to do with this guy that doesn't make him miserable to fight against. So I'm just going to leave him down and needs to be buffed or reworked. I'm sorry, guys. Requiem Rowana is solid if you have multiple units that are over 300 speed, 295 speed, right? You need to have multiple units to initiate her. Maybe at least one, right? Zeo and one other super fast unit to initiate her so that you can use her. If you don't have that, she's going to be harder to use. Because if you just pick Zeo and her and they ban Zeo, she's going to sit there on your team never taking a turn. She's also countered heavily by units like Abyssal Euphine and Fire Politis. especially both of them together. But if you have those multiple speed units, she's very, very solid. If you don't have those multiple units, then she's not even a consideration. So I am going to put her on the team, just on solid, because she is very, very, very strong. As long as you have the gear to support, or the unit pool to support it. So please be aware of that before you draft Rowana out of the solid tier. Make sure that you have the units to support it. Ruel. The only reason I'm not putting Ruel in the meta tier is because it looks like Hua Young is going to come out and be a significant issue for Ruel. And also Sinful Angelica. Looks like she might be a significant issue for Ruel. So I'm moving her down. I'm no longer putting her in the meta tier. I don't think Ruel is going to be the problem that she currently is. Sageball is counter cleave. If you don't like getting cleaved, he's a good option for that. Phantom Politis is, bar none, the strongest unit in the game that is available on the headhunt. If you don't have your Phantom Politis, pick her up right now. Silverblade Aramentha, if she had a strip, she'd be crazy. She's a lot of fun. I'm going to put her down here in the solid. Solitary of the Snow, a lot of people are telling me that, she's amazing. She's amazing because she shuts down focus, and focus units are such a problem right now. But that's all she does. Now, it's a permanent niche, though. It's a permanent niche. It is not a you use it into one or two things. It's a you use it into a mechanic, right? Just like Bellion, she's used into a mechanic. So she is the very tippy top of niche. But it's such a strong niche. It's an evergreen niche. It's a niche that doesn't go away when a unit just falls off the meta. It's a niche that is always going to be there. So it's such a strong niche, you may want to consider it solid. Just like you may want to consider Bellion solid. Just like you may want to consider Sharoon solid. The niches are so hecking strong right now. But that doesn't make them not niches. Specimen says his niche is he takes an incredible amount of setup, and if you're in Guild War fight or something, that's easier, but in RTA, the level of setup he takes is too hard. Spectre Tenebria, if you're talking about just PvE, she is one of the best units in the game. If you're talking about just clearing Abyss and getting your Abyss done, she's fantastic. If you finished Abyss, if PvE is not your jam, if you're looking just at RTA, she needs a buff. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but Tenebria needs a buff. Because she is not usable in RTA right now. Not really. She's very, very difficult to slot in. Too many things just rip right through her. Spirit Eye Celine. I'm gonna get some pushback on this. But she needs a buff too. She needs a big buff. I love this unit. And I want to say she's good. But I can't think of a place to pick her that she doesn't just lose. She would be the most niche of niche picks. People are like, well, occasionally she's good on 4-5. When? When is she good on 4-5? I'll tell you when she's good on 4-5. She's good on 4-5 when your opponent's an idiot. When your opponent drafts like a complete moron, then you have the opportunity to slot in Spirit Eye Celine. And your opponent being a moron cannot be a niche, right? That's not a niche. No, nobody says, oh yeah, well, this unit's niche job is your opponent's just an idiot. You can't rely on that. That's not a niche. Strays would be right down here beside Architect Leica with needs a buff if it wasn't for how good he is into hunts. So I'm going to go ahead and move him up to niche, and his niche use is in certain PvE situations or in situations where you're able to get rid of Empyrean Ilanov. You can get Strays on the team and do some stuff, but he is he is easier to use than Leica and has some uses outside of RTA, so I'm going to stick him in the niche category. Sylvan Sage Vivian is giga freaking strong right now. I am tempted to put her in meta. I really, really am. Her inability to, or her ability to just not be debuffed in a debuff meta is so good right now. I'm going to stick her at the top of solid because if you first pick her, they're going to go in with anti-focus units and just kind of kill you, right? And the nice thing about the meta column is almost across the board, they're all first pickable, with the exception maybe of DDR. You don't first pick him anymore, not unless you really organize your pre-bans. But yeah, she is probably one of the strongest units right now. She is also one of the hardest to build. Probably in the, maybe even in the top 5 hardest units in the game to build right now. But definitely, if you can build her, she's a solid asset for your team. Top model Lulika, if you can build her, she is a great way to initiate cleave. She is also in the top 5. Even Solburn doesn't affect her. Oh, sorry, I misread. Top model Lulika, if you can build her, is a really, really, really good initiator. She takes very, very high-end gear, one of the top units, or one of the harder to gear units in the game. But if you can pull it off, you can do some crazy things with her. Twisted Idol on Kairon. I feel like he needs a buff. Some people say he's okay. Some people say, let's move you right to the front. Please buff this unit, put you in front. Not because you're the best on the list, but because I want people to see you first and buff you. Twisted Idol on Kairon. Some people say after his rework he's usable, maybe in lower fights, maybe in some fun fights, but I've not seen him successfully run yet. Maybe there's some crazy cool niche build out there, but I don't think he needs a buff. I think he needs a rework. I think his kit is just anti-synergistic for how this game is played. Shu is a giga strong unit. Definitely pick her up, and Zia is a meta unit who freaking is surprised by that. Now, there you go. This is the new current tier list for the ML5 headhunts. As you can see, not a lot has changed. The biggest changes we've had is Ruel and Bryceria got pulled down because of the what it looks like bystander Hua Young's going to do to her, and because of the job sharing with Singelica having so much overlap. The only issue Sinji has is Veronica stripping and then somebody just killing Singelica. And that's about it. Pirate Flan's buffs are lackluster. Closer Charles's buffs look like they're an EE away from making him solid and usable again. But yeah, that's about it. So if you have any questions about this tier list, ask them in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope this helps some of you guys out. I think if you've already locked in your headhunt even before the patch, you probably don't have any regrets. Because let's face it, this balance patch was kind of not it. The top winner from the balance patch, in my opinion, is Sigurd Scythe, mostly for its usability on Bystander Hua Young and for how strong it is as a warrior artifact already. They just made it more stable. The second top winner from the balance patch is definitely Sinful Angelica. They effectively made her into a free-to-play version of Briarwitch Assaria, but unlike most of the time when they do that, when they make it a ML5 at home version, they made her a very, very solid version who only really has one issue, and that's a vampire hunter, and she's an issue for just about anything that procs immortality. So if you are just aware of and avoid Veronica's, I think she's a better Briarwitch Assaria. Now, if they slam Veronica, you're going to have issues. So consider that Veronica now is not just a BBK counter, but also a Sinful Angelica counter. The third winner of the balance patch is Euphine. They basically turned Euphine into Green Jacko. Now, Jacko still gets a stronger push, but unlike Jacko, Euphine doesn't rely on penetration to get her giga damage. So Euphine is a Jacko that you can take into comps where Empyrean Ilanov exists. Now you'll have to build your Euphine much faster, 20 to 30 speed faster than Jacko to make her work. And doing that's going to be a little tough with her and maintaining the damage, but they also changed Yuffie to give her a crit chance self-imprint instead of an attack self-imprint, so it makes her significantly easier to build. So I think people who like to, Jacko cleave are going to be happy that they now have another tool in the toolbox in the form of a Yuffie cleave. And it's nice because Yuffie cleaving was great, and then Jacko came out and totally stole that entire job away, and nobody picked Yuffie anymore ever, because Jacko was just better. Then Imperial Ilanov came out, and suddenly Jacko cleaving was much harder. Well, not just Ilanov, but the meta got super, super tanky as well. Now Yuffie comes back, and she comes back in a way that adds to it. It just gives you another tool. Instead of just Jacko cleave, you could now choose. Maybe I Jacko cleave. Maybe I Yuffie cleave. You start to set up a Jacko cleave. Your opponent sees it coming. They start to slam a bunch of water units to make your Jacko cleave harder. Well, now you can slam Yuffie into it. You worried about that you worried about that Yuffie or worried about that Jacko cleave because you picked Ran and they picked Elena. Well, now you pick Yuffie, and their Elena means nothing to you. You just murder that too. I really like it. Not that Jacko and Yuffie style cleaves are a common thing. It is a niche thing, but it's more tools in the toolbox for that style cleave. I'm pretty happy about it, and the best part is they did it in such a way that it does not break anything about her ability to solo Labyrinth on her number 2 EE, right? If you probably aren't going to want to run that EE for PvP. You'll probably want to have maybe a second Yuffie built if you're wanting to do the Labyrinth and you're wanting to do the Yuffie cleaving. But even if you aren't interested in cleaving with Yuffie, you just want to do the Labyrinth, that hasn't been impacted. The only thing that's changed is the CR push while her S3 is ready. So you'll need to be aware of that when setting up getting the counter buff onto her. You'll either need to S3 her at the start to get that cooldown down, or you'll need to go into another fight, S3, and then go into the fight where you do the counter buff. It's not that big of a deal. You just got to set it up a little bit. It might make the setup a little bit trickier, but once you've got it set up, it'll work 100% of the time. And that's it. The closer Charles buffs might be good if he gets an EE. Everybody is singing the praises of the Elagos buffs because they look like a hard counter to Afternoon Soak Flan. And they are. For a lot of people, they'll make it easier to kill Afternoon Soak Flan, especially for the people that missed the Overlord collab, right? People that don't have Shaltir. He is going to be basically another Shaltir for killing Afternoon Soak Flan. He'll make that a lot easier. He'll stealth out and then just murder her before she can really do anything, just like Shaltir. But that's about it. And at higher ELOs, people are fighting like mid champs and above. I don't think he's going to be usable because the teams you're going to draft Elagos on are typically faster teams, and faster teams typically don't have problems with Flan. So it's like a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. I think lower down, where people are just tired of getting murdered, he's a quick I win button to deal with Flan. Just slot him in there. He is your Schneal into their DDR. You can have your Elagos into Flan and win some fights. But higher up, I don't like his synergy with slower style of fighting. I think people are overhyping him, and I don't think he's going to do for them what people think he's going to do for them. Because fast players don't care about Flan. They just run her over. They just murder her. The damage output's already so high, you don't need Elagos to kill Flan, so why bother wasting an empty pick to do it? You just cleave her. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how he pans out. I am not as excited about the Elagos changes as a lot of people are. Does it make him better? Well, obviously. Does it make him good into Flan? Well, definitely. But I don't think it's going to change his usability that much, except on the lower end where people who don't quite know how to beat Flan or don't have the units to beat Flan, it gives them a silver bullet for dealing with that situation. The Chloe buffs don't make sense to me. A lot of people are saying the Chloe buffs are clearly for the new Rift that's coming out at the end of the month, but her S3 is a guaranteed stun if Magic Nail, and you can't tell me the Rift boss can be stunned. So none of that makes sense to me. maybe she's being buffed to be a Rift supporter unit, kind of like how haste was really important with Kayn in the Fire Rift, how I don't know, Bernard or Vivian were really good with Wukong in the Earth Rift. But I don't think she is being changed to be a headliner for Rift, because first of all, Smilegate has turned Rift into a way to sell us a unit, right? Every time a new Rift comes out, here is a banner for a unit that if you don't pull it, you can't do Rift. And I guarantee you we're going to be getting a blue unit here sometime around Christmas. That's going to be the unit you're going to need to do Rift if you want to do Rift. So expect that. But I don't know. When I kept looking, I'm thinking 2-turn stun, guaranteed stun, magic nail damage, boosted damage. I think it's a misguided attempt to turn a PvE unit into a PvP unit. Like with Alots. And I think like with Alots, it's going to do absolutely nothing and nobody's going to play the unit. But we'll see. I'm not sure what's going on with that. And the buff to Elagos' artifact, I have no idea what the purpose of that is. I have no idea why that was buffed or who is going to use it. The only unit in the game I can think of who might use it is Elagos himself. I mean, that's an actual used unit. I think that's it. It is a very boring, lackluster balance patch. And that's disappointing. It's a time of the year and a time in Epic 7 when we really needed a hype and excitement, and what we got is makes them better in the way they were already used pretty much across the board. About the only things to be excited about are Singelica and Sigurd Scythe. Maybe Euphine if you like that style of cleave. I'm kind of disappointed. I don't know about you guys. So we'll put this together in a video and get it up. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think about this balance patch. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
And don't forget to come to my stream.
Don't forget to check out Divine's stream on the 15th.
You have the image. You have the image on you.
I will show everybody the image. Hang on here. You guys. This image is great, by the way. There you go, everybody. Take a picture. Make sure you're there.
I was inspired by the patch to take that image, Joe.
Charity holiday stream, guys.
We're gonna be giving away Sky Stones, and we're gonna be donating a bunch of money to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. You know, I love to bring together the community, and you know I love a good cause. So you know it's got to be done. It's got to be done. You get my one day out of a year annual stream.
So guys, I was yapping at the camera and getting ready to make that into a video. I know I missed some of your questions. I saw one of you asking something about Tywin. Go ahead and ask your questions again. Sorry I missed them before. I can't easily scroll up on this new overlay. Let me know if I missed anything you said, and don't take it personal. I have the attention span of a goldfish. Should I get Zeo or Politis? I don't have Ilanov or Harsetti. If you are under a year of gameplay, I would get Zeo. If you're over a year of gameplay, you probably have the gear to support a Politis, and I think she will do more for you. But both are good. Both are good. Zeo has never not been top of the list. Politis has never not been top of the list. Politis is just stronger into the current meta, but Zeo is very, very, very usable. A Tywin or LRK? I can't choose between the two. Right now, LRK is stronger. Right now. A Tywin has never not been strong. Since his buffs, he has been consistently strong. A Tywin has done this. Okay? Get what I'm saying? Right now, LRK is top tier. And if nothing in the game ever changed, God forbid, then LRK would be your choice. But due to the cyclical nature of him going up and down with metas shifting, I'm recommending people get Tywin because he is more consistent. So do with that what you want. Do you want what's currently the strongest, or do you want the stability of Tywin? For the fact that I don't have good speed gear, should I take a Tywin rather than ML Poly? I think as long as you can get your Poly into the 275, 280 range, but if you can't do that, then you might want to consider Tywin instead. DDR LRK. I'm legitimately curious who I win more with. It's not really fair to say I use LRK more because I use Hellion Lua the most. LRK or DDR? I still think DDR. But it's close enough I would flip a coin. DDR has more counters, but LRK is a little harder to build a team around. Slightly more situational. LRK you can first pick. DDR you can't first pick.
Hey, Tristen and chat. Are you ready for the Thrice-in, a Thrice-time special young senior packs? Who's there doing that countdown to a new unit promo event again?
LRK or Hua Young? Hua Young. Yeah. I mean, is that even a question? Have you seen Hua Young? I mean, god damn. How to play Poly. Poly pairs really well with Afternoon Soak Flan, with C Phantom Politis. You let somebody get C Poly, Flan, and Tywin. Gah. Brutal. A Tywin or Ludwig if you love cleave. Well, a Tywin's not used for cleaving, so that's kind of a loaded question. If you want to cleave, you get Ludwig and you cleave, but realize that Ludwig-style cleave is incredibly difficult, whereas a Tywin you can first pick. A Tywin's going to be usable in more consistently overall styles of play, but if all you ever do is cleave, then you probably are never going to use Tywin. What was my take on... Oh, I didn't talk about Archdemon, did I? They just made her more consistent. I think she might see more use. It's nice that they brought her extra attack up to 100%. They made her breaks more consistent. They made her CR pushing more consistent. Everything they did about her was good, except they removed her blind. If they left her blind in, I think she would be used a lot. Taking her blind out and the other changes just feel a little lukewarm. I think we'll see more of her, but I don't think it's enough to make her a household name, if you get what I'm saying. You see my LRK? Sure. What are we talking about? Oh, was a young Senya pack leaked? Are we really doing thrice in a life? I thought it was a meme. We're really doing thrice in a lifetime packs for Senya. Madness. Is Lua the unit I have the most fun with right now? Yeah, I think Melissa, but it's kind of hard to do it. You can't cleave with Singelica. She's not a damage dealer. But she is, she's 114 base speed. And Briar's 114 base speed, so saying she's too slow to do what Briar does is objectively false. They're the exact same speed. But what Briar does is offensive, what Singelica does is defensive, right? Briar brings defense breaks and buff blocks. Singelica brings attack buffs and speed buffs and cleanses. Briar Witch brings strips. Singelica brings cleanses. They're two sides of the same coin. The thing that makes Singelica better is it's a single-edged sword, so you'll still be able to raise unit on your team. The things that makes oh, you know what? You're right. She does have an EE that gives her 10 more speed. You're right. She is faster. I forgot about the EE. The things that makes Briar better is she nests her immortality, so Veronica's not a hard counter to her. This is not a Mort knocking Astromancer Elena out of the meta situation. This is here is a viable alternative for people that don't have Briar, or for a situational circumstance where being able to cleanse debuffs and give attack and speed buff to your entire team. It's like, what if we gave you half of LRK with raise block? You know? Plus, unlike Briar, I mean, both defense break on the S1, but Sinji dual attacks into that defense break. Briar only dual attacks into that defense break if you got Flan on the team. So I think they're both going to be very good. And there are going to be situations where you'll be reaching for one, and there'll be situations where you're reaching for the other. There'll be situations where one work and the other doesn't. But there's going to be a lot of overlap. And that's why I moved her out of the top picks section, is because if you have Sinji and you don't have Briar, you've at least got an option. Now, there are certain situations where the option will not work as well as Briar. She's still a top end unit. Anybody that says she's going to do to Briar what Mort did to Astromancer Elena is crazy. I think she will complement it. I think she gives you additional options. Like, I fought a guy, he picked Briar and Ruel into me. That didn't go very well for him. But if he had picked Sinji and Ruel into me, that would have been a different fight for him. He probably would have won that fight. Speaking of fight, let's do our daily. I'll go lock in mine and I'll show you how it works. Solar, let me just finish this fight real quick. Bri you typically want with some damage. Sinji, this guy's gonna cleave me. Okay, if you're gonna try to cleave me, we're gonna set up anti-cleave. Bri, you're probably wanting to load effectiveness and damage on. Sinji, you're probably wanting to load just ER and speed. Okay, let's see. So next you're gonna go BBK probably. We can do Broman at one point, and we can do Let's go tanky and this. It's too early for me to think about how to chew through counter cleave. Okay, so now we paralyze you. And that's the damage one. We go with the counter cleave effectiveness one. There we go. That Mort was a good pick. Who's fragile enough to get stepped on by Mort? Let's do this. I think my Broman still cuts. Burn this here. Pow. Kill this. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Two-turn silence is the shit, isn't it? You want S3? Didn't think so. What are you gonna do? That blind on Mort's huge. Vroom vroom, let's ride. Why did you have to say that? Spatial, what the fuck's wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you? Whose side are you on? Man. Thank God I got rid of that defense break. No! Damn it. Yeah, it's huge. I love it. God damn it, Mort. Mort is giga strong, dude. Okay, thank God for the blind. Don't counter me. That crit was nice. Just give me a big old miss, Mr. Mort. Nice miss, Mr. Mort. Don't counter me. Hope you're happy with yourself, Spatial. Man, it was like cutting down a tree with a butter knife. Hey, look, we're one away. Whew. What were you guys saying? How does the E7 patch the POE2 builds? It's a damn fine question. That's a damn fine question. You want to go find out? What time is it? Jesus, it's already 12:30. You guys took a lot of my day out. I'm only going to have maybe about half an hour to play some PoE. But screw it. Let's play some PoE. Where is my Steam launcher? The patch is lackluster because the devs know everyone. It's because the devs are playing PoE. They're like, we could put a lot of time and effort into this, or we could just phone it in and then go download PoE. What the deuce? Where did my launcher open? Not up there. Is it up here? Hang on. Oh my god, it did. It opened up behind my freaking OBS. I have my OBS always on top so that I never lose chat, and it opened behind it. Anybody know a way to make freaking certain apps always open on one monitor? Because I sure as shit can't figure it out. Maybe there's some like third-party software to keep apps from opening on monitors you don't want them to open on. Okay, last time I was told the game sound was way too loud. It was like louder than me and everything, and I don't want anything to be louder than me. So if it is, let me know so I can knock the volume down a little bit. Whoa, why the flashbang game? Give me a second to change the game. So Twitch doesn't get all its knickers in a twist. There we go. Updated the game. Oops. So this is where I've gone so far, right? I got some attack speed to make my arrows not feel so damn sluggish. And then I just stacked everything into evasion. I'm just going as dodgy as I can go. And now I'm heading down here and trying to get into this bow mastery area to make my bow hit harder. So I'm just making a beeline for it. I don't know if this is the right play or not. We're going to see. I found that lightning arrow plus these things right here is the shit. Look at this. Just everything dies because of the kickback from the lightning arrow. Yeah, what you need, Loki? Oops, I was reading chat and standing in a pool of blood. Press U on my keyboard, sure. What you need? Yeah, right. It's kind of Souls-like. I love it. I'm stuck on finding a mini boss and I'm in the hunting grounds. Where's the hunting grounds? I'll have to get, well, I gotta go to a portal first. Oh, check out these boots. Aren't these boots the shit, man? Alright.
Thunderous shot.
Remember this big circle with a tree in the middle? Some guy named Finn comes out. Hang on, I gotta get a feel for this zone again. Freaking hate these poison levels. What's that, Loki? Hang on. Oh, these things? There's multiples of them. Oh wait, is this the monkey guy?
Thunderous shot.
Hey, get back here, you jerk.
You won't escape.
That's what I was saying.
Scream all you like. It won't help you.
Hate this close quarter shit. Ah, you got me. Yeah, there's two of them.
Storming arrow.
Ah! There's another ritual site, Loki. It's is it there? It's like the treehouse area, right? Oh. I think I accidentally closed the game. Yeah, the other map, Freyhorn. Excuse me. You just found it? Okay, good. You didn't check that 1%, did you now, buddy?
Quickly.
Tired of the slaughter yet? Take a punt. You know you want to. Deal.
Ooh. Need a bow with sockets on it. Man, I keep finding like all this good stuff, like all yellow, you know, all rare and unique stuff. I can't find a bow or a quiver to save my damn life.
Farewell, hero.
So what classes are you guys playing? You doing a monk? Witch with minions? Nice, nice, nice. I'm realizing the class is awful. I love the Deadeye Ranger.
By decree of the Count of Ogham, all men must work a third shift. and continue excavating until further notice. Any man caught resting will meet the executioner's axe, or the gallows noose.
Fury!
These guys are beefy. Holy shit. They don't like poison, though. And my buddy Wolf and Roses is doing the way. I think Baka's doing the Necromancer build too. Okay, I guess we go this way. Witch Contagion. You guys liking it? You think you're going to change? I love how easy it is to respec in this. Let me go. Yeah, I already took care of it. Thank you much, Joe.
Daily reminder to get your stove checked in reward when you can.
Damn. That was nasty. Honestly, I'm loving Invoker Monk, legit running around like Darth Maul slicing ice everywhere. Awesome, man. I'm gonna have to try that. Stop shooting me with fire. Oh my god. Well, that's awkward. All the way back here. Shit. At the start, Monk does feel a bit bad. That's most of the classes. Oop, shit.
First.
Time is it? I gotta watch the time. I don't have it yet. It's on the list. Actually, let me see if I can make that. Let's try it out. I think I might have something to build that. I got Barrage, but they completely changed how it works, and I'm not thrilled with it. Yeah, I can try it. Give it a shot. Oh, get out of the friggin' poison. What the hell am I doing? All needed embeds into them and they carry it with them, huh? That was aggressive.
Fury.
Okay, I'm kind of liking that. Let's move that up to an easier to get spot. Ooh, piece of candy. Okay, Maury, thanks for that. This is kind of fun. I'm digging it. Oh shit, boss.
Trophy.
Yeah, it's finally stable. No more queues.
Face me.
Regal Orb.
Don't mind if I do. In my sights.
Oof. Ah. How far are you into this, Loki? I only just started. I think I'm only like level 12. 16. Never mind. A little better. Have you fought the Executioner yet? He's a lot of fun. Yeah, wait till you get to the Executioner, man. That is a great fight. Yeah, the game looks really good. Oh, I got one tapped several times fighting him. I was kind of under-leveled going in there. Eventually got him, though. This build I have put together, not the best for soloing bosses. Yay. Is 170 to 180 speed range good for Dilibet, or does she need to be 120 to cut? Or 210 to 200 to cut. Try it. You should be good. I don't like her slower than 190. So it's a little slow, but with how slow the meta is, you might be fine. Give it a try and see. If not, try to get like maybe 10 to 20 more speed on her. Whoa. Shit. This is where we started, isn't it? This is where they tried to hang us, and we went right over this wall right here. I've only got about 5 more minutes to play, guys. Ooh, piece of candy.
Fury.
Oh, no, no, no. Oh. Awkward. Another yellow thing that's not a bow. Well, dude, give one to me. I freaking got yellow everything that's not a bow. Sounds like you and me may need to do some trading here, Loki. Send me a party request. Yeah, right, Maury?
Storm point.
Takes so long to get onto the server. Doesn't seem to for me. I just jumped right in. That's right. These guys don't like lightning, or don't like poison. I like the combo of poisoning and lightning because the things that are weak to lightning are immune to poison and vice versa. So the combo seems to work really well. I don't think we need to be Steam friends. You can just send me an invite in game. We need to be in-game friends. Search for me. It's TristenWulf. No space. Shit, it's 1 o'clock. Theme's a little too dark, bit hard to see.
Storm.
Give me a second here. That better? Oh wow, Morty shit. Give me just a minute. I just want to run in here, get killed by a boss, and then I gotta log off, but I'll log in on my laptop when I get upstairs. I gotta help get ready for guests that are coming this evening.
Cowardly wolf that hides in his den.
Yo, calm your tits. They were angry. I'm really glad I invested heavily into evasion. I can't tell you how many times it saved my ass, Maury. Yeah, give me like 10-15 minutes, Loki.
Nowhere to run.
Nah, we've traded before. I've traded with people who are earlier than you, man. I respect for it, and I have zero regrets. Yikes. No. Balls. No, this is not mobile. Okay. Guys, I gotta wrap it up. I gotta go get ready for guests coming over. Loki, I'll jump on my laptop real quick and we'll get some trades done, but then I gotta get the house prepped. So, thank you guys for being here, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Let's see. Where are we gonna send you? Go check out the real Shotgun Shogun. I haven't seen him in forever. All right, guys. Thanks again for being here, and we'll do more tomorrow.